Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe Archino back here, and yet again this season, the Golden State Warriors do what they've done all season. That is continue to win, defeating the Oklahoma City Thunder last night, 121 to 106, and this is the third time that Golden State has beaten the Thunder. And really, this time it really felt like this was the Golden State one, where they just really had their foot on the gas pedal most of the way. Now, was it a close game? Yes. Oklahoma City, probably start to finish, has played Golden State tougher than anyone else has this season, and really Golden State had to battle back the previous two times. The first game, Golden State got out to a tremendous lead early, and then Oklahoma City really made it again, a game in the fourth quarter, and then, of course, Golden State does what they do all season, and they make the plays in the fourth quarter and win that game. Then, of course, we know the overtime thriller just a weekend ago where Stephen Curry hits that incredible three-point shot, doing what he has done all season. And then in this game, it's a close one for the most part, but in the last couple minutes of the third quarter and then the fourth quarter, Golden State is clearly the better team, and they just do what they have done all season. And again, it's one of those things where you can only praise the team so much. I mean, we all know how good they are. We can all see why they're so good. But, there's a play to me in that game that just shows why they're so just a cut above everyone else. And you just watch them on the floor and just turn off your brain for a second and just watch. Just look at the way that the guys just read and react to each other. They all kind of know where one person is going to go at any given time. Their floor away awareness is incredible. There's a play where Andre Iguodala is underneath the basket, and then somebody runs up from the three-point line right under to him. He passes the ball up, and it's an easy 2 points. It's just little plays like that just make the game so much easier for the Golden State Warriors. And of course, when you've won 55 games and have lost 5, and you have now tied the record in NBA history for most consecutive home wins, you're doing a lot of things right. And I think the next question for the Warriors is, can they make history and win 73 games and beat the Chicago Bulls record? Based on the way that we have seen them play this season, I don't think any of us are saying anything is impossible, but we will kind of look ahead a little bit to kind of see if it's possible at all and if it can happen. And one of the things that you have to look into is, of course, how many games are left. There's 22 games left for the Golden State Warriors, and really, you look at the teams that they've lost against. They lost to the Bucks, they lost to the Mavs, they lost to the Nuggets, they lost to the Pistons, and they lost to the Blazers. So they've really showed up and almost have a perfect record against San Antonio, against Oklahoma City, against Cleveland. So the losses aren't going to come to one of those teams because Golden State's always going to be ready. It's always going to be one of those teams that catches them off guard, like a Milwaukee, like a Denver, like a Detroit did. But honestly, I mean, you look at those losses and they're all spaced out dramatically. None of these losses were followed up by another loss. They either lost one and then there was a couple games and then they lost another. But for the most part, their losses are spaced out and there are wide gaps between when they have lost games. So if you're asking the question, can they win 73 games and break NBA history? I think you've got to say there's a legitimate chance that they can do that. I mean, if they could only lose 4 times in the last 22 games, and will that happen? It's one of those things where they really haven't shied away from the fact that if the record is there and there's a chance, they'll go for it. Stephen Curry has said that. And if it is there, which I think it will be, how could you not go for it? It'd be one thing if this was the San Antonio Spurs or this was the Cleveland Cavaliers, where the nucleus of that team was so veteran-oriented. But this is a young team with fresh legs and depth on the bench. They don't really have to worry about tiring themselves out. They are young enough and they are fast enough where the wear and tear is not really going to be a concern. And for that reason, if Steve Kerr can make history, he will. He'll do it. He has all the weapons at his disposal. He has the youth. He has the fresh legs to do it. And right now, in 22 games left, based on the trajectory of their schedule and the way losses have been spaced out, I don't think that they will lose the next couple games. I mean, they can't lose more. If they lose 5, they're tied with the Bulls for 72-10. So they have to they can't lose more than 4 games, and it's very possible. It really is. And I think if I was a betting man today, I would say it would happen because I look at their schedule and, there are a couple tough games that they still have left. Still have 3 games left against San Antonio. But for the most part, again, those 4 losses, none of them are, the 5 losses they have this season, none of them are to any of the top teams in this league. They're not to the Clippers, they're not to the Thunder, they're not to the Spurs, they're not to the Cavs. So based on that, it's going to probably come against someone else. And I just think with the way this team is focused right now and just the pure talent and depth, and they're gaining more and more confidence and unselfishness by the day, because it's very difficult to get NBA players to be unselfish because of the amount of money in the league and just the way the game is played. People want numbers, people want shots, and people are not as willing to give those opportunities up because they want the payday, they want the glory, and they want the points. But once you see the winning formula take its effect, it's very easy, it's much easier to buy in. And I think for the Warriors, for a guy like Andre Iguodala, he saw that. For guys like Thompson and Curry, it would be easy for their egos to get in the way of winning because they play the same way. They make a lot of money. They both really want the glory. But they understand what's more important, and that's winning. And once you see that, it's so much easier to buy in. And I think everybody on this team is undoubtedly locked in more now than ever. And now the question, which we have answered, is can they win 73 games? They can, and I think that they will. Again, 22 games left, can't lose more than 4. I really think that they can do it. With 22 left, this team is just so locked in. They're young. They're not going to get tired out. Really, they're going to give it everything that they have, and as long as they stay healthy, which they relatively have been, aside from maybe Klay Thompson missing a game here and there, Curry missing a game here and there, Iguodala missing a game here and there, for the most part, they're able to overcome those things because of the pure depth on this team. Any night you're getting double figures off from somebody on the bench, usually more than one guy, and it really is a perfect dynamic for the Golden State Warriors. And if you need a reason why they'll win 73 games and break the Bulls record of 72-10, it's probably for multiple reasons. And I think most undoubtedly, more than anything, it's the youth, the depth, and just the pure unselfishness that they play with. But until that happens, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino and on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino. And I'll see everybody next time.